Hi grade 10s, it's Miss Thangaraj here. Today we're going to continue what we started yesterday. We're going to try to find a way to take an equation in standard form like x squared plus 5x plus 6 and change it into something that's in factored form like x plus 2, x plus 3. Because if we have it in factored form, it makes it so much easier to graph because we can find the x-intercepts. The x-intercepts would be minus 2 and minus 3. So please get a piece of paper and a pencil. I know I say this every day, but of all the lessons we've done so far, this is the most important one that you need to be working on it while you're watching. Just watching won't be enough. So get a piece of paper and a pencil and a calculator right now. So this is lesson 6. We are nearly done assignment number 4. And in lesson number 6, I want to graph y is equal to x squared plus 3x plus 2, but that's in standard form. So I don't know the factored form, so I don't know the x-intercepts. In the same way, I want to graph y is equal to x squared plus 5x plus 4. But again, because that's not in factored form, I can't find the x-intercepts. And without the x-intercepts, it's really challenging to graph. So we're going to go back to our tried and true method of using the chart. And this chart is what we're going to depend on in order to find the answer. So we have this equation, y is equal to x plus 4, x plus 3. And I'm going to use the chart method to change that from factored form to standard form. So what I would do is I put the x plus 4 across the top, the x plus 3 down the side, and I'd multiply the 4 times. So x times x is x squared, 4 times x is 4x, 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 4 is 12. And then I know that the answer then in standard form is x squared plus 4x plus 3x plus 12. That's my answer in standard form, except for not quite yet because I need to simplify a bit. I need to put the 4x and the 3x together, and then I'll have y is equal to x squared plus 7x plus 12. So let me explain to you what we're going to do today. What we're going to do today is we're going to do what we just did right now, just backwards. So let me show you what I mean by that. So we're going to start with y is equal to x squared plus 7x plus 12. And what we need to do is we need to figure out what two numbers to replace the 7 with. So we want to find two numbers that are going to add together to give us 7. So the 4x plus 3x would give us the 7 that we had before. But we also need to find two numbers that are going to multiply to give us 12. So this is really cool. We had 4 and 3 before. 4 plus 3 gives me 7, like I wanted in the middle. But 4 times 3 gives me 12. That's interesting. Let's put that information into our chart. So we're going to go back to our chart. We're still going backwards. I'm going to put in my x squared. I'm going to put in my 12 in the corners of the chart. I'm going to put my 4x and my 3x in the chart. And I know that that means if I were to go backwards, at the top I would need x plus 4 if I had x squared plus 4x. And along the side, I would need x plus 3 if I had 3x and 12 there. Because 3 times 4 is 12, and 3x plus 4x gives you 7. So that means the equation would be y is equal to x plus 4 times x plus 3. And the great thing is, as soon as you know that equation, you can graph it. Because anytime you have an equation in factored form, like this, you know that the plus 4 means that one of the x-intercepts is at minus 4, and you know that the plus 3 means the x-intercept is at minus 3. Now, I want to kind of allay any concerns you might have. This is the trickiest thing in grade 10. So you probably didn't understand much of what I just said, but hopefully you're going to understand more by the end. So we're going to look at the equation y is equal to x squared plus 3x plus 2 from assignment number 4. We're going to try to go backwards using the chart, and we're going to go backwards so that we can find the equation in factored form, and then we'll be able to graph it. Okay, so we are going to go backwards. We're going to take this equation, we're going to go backwards, so hopefully we can find the equation in factored form. And what we're doing today is called factoring. And it really is one of the trickiest things you're going to look at in grade 10 and grade 11. So you're probably not going to get it right away, and that is totally okay. So right here we have standard form, and we know that when we have standard form, that part goes inside the chart on the inside part. I know that my x squared should go here. I know that my 2 should go here. And I know at the top I always have an x here and an x here. So let's put those x's here. What I want to know is I want to know what's that number and what's that number. Well, what I want is I know that these two numbers here need to multiply together to give me 2. What are the only two numbers that multiply to give you 2? I'm pretty sure 1 and 2 are the only numbers. 1 times 2 gives me 2. That's my dog again. Kylo, please be good for a few minutes and then I'll let you go outside. Come here, Kylo, I'll pet you. Okay, so we want to fill in the chart. So we have guessed that here's a 2 and here's a 1. That means I'd have x times x is x squared. 1 times x is 1x. 2 times x is 2x. Let's look at this part on the inside and make sure it matches with this. I've got x squared, I've got 2, I've got 1x and 2x. Together that gives me 3x. Okay, so this matches with the standard form. That's the inside of the chart. The outside of the chart, that tells you the factored form. So before we didn't know these numbers, but it must be x plus 1 and x plus 2. And the great thing is, when I looked at this before, the only thing I knew for sure is that this number at the end told me the y-intercept. So all I knew initially from this is that over here at 2, the curve went through 2. But I didn't know whether it went like this or like this. I didn't know. But now that we've gone backwards and put it into factored form, I know that 1, 0, oh Kylo, there she goes again. 1, 0 is minus 1. And 1, 0 is minus 2. I know that these are my zeros. I know that the axis of symmetry is right in the middle. So it's going to do this, that. It's going to go through the y-intercept of 2. There's my curve. I know it's not that pretty looking, but let's check in Desmos to make sure we did this right. Okay, so I've just gone over to my computer. I entered the original equation in standard form, and all I really knew at the beginning was that it had to go through 2 on the y-axis. I didn't know, I can't tell from looking at that equation where the x-intercepts are. So then I went backwards using the chart method, and x is equal to x, we found the numbers were x plus 1, plus 1, x plus 2. And what I see is that the blue equation is identical to the red equation. How can I tell that? Well, because look at, I'm going to just see the red and then I click on the blue and the blue covers it. So the reason that's great is because right now this plus 1 and this plus 2 tells us that my x-intercepts should be at minus 1 and minus 2. And the equation up here told us that the y-intercept should be at 2. Now with all that information, it's really easy to graph. Okay, so let's look at question number 2 from this assignment or this lesson. It says we're given the equation y is equal to x squared plus 5x plus 4, and they want you to make a graph. Now, you can't make a graph if all you have is the equation in standard form. You need to change it to factored form, so we're gonna have to go backwards with our chart again. Okay, so here is my equation in standard form. Y is equal to x squared plus 5x plus 4. We know that the standard form goes on the inside of the chart. So here's my x squared. Here is my 4. And what I want to do is I want to come up with 2 numbers right here that multiply together to give me 4. And the first thing that comes to my mind is 2, because I know that 2 times 2 gives me 4. I also know that x times x gives me x squared. Let's see if this is going to work. So if I chose the 2 to go here, because 2 times 2 is 4, just like I wanted, that would mean I'd have x times x is x squared, 2 times x is 2x, 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 2 is 4. You always need to check now to see if what's in the chart matches what you had in standard form. So I have x squared, I have 4. But what happens when I add 2x plus 2x? Does that give me 5x? It does not give me 5x. So right away, we know that this is wrong. We have to start again. Okay, so I'm going to go down my table and I'm going to try one more time. There must be something else you can use to multiply together to give you 4. Can you think of 2 other numbers that when I multiply them, I get 4? So I'm going to write down the equation. Y is equal to x squared plus 5x plus 4. Okay, I need a 4 here. I need an x squared. We know that 2 times 2 did not work. Oh, let's try this. How about 4 times 1? Does 4 times 1 give you 4? Yes. X times x gives you x squared. 4 times x gives you 4x. 1 times x gives you 1x. 1 times 4 gives you 4. Now let's check to see if what we have on the inside matches what we have here. X squared, we have the 4. 4x plus 1x gives me 5x. So that means this right here is correct, which tells us that our equation in form needs to be x plus 4, x plus 1, which means that if I graph that, you'd have 1x intercept at minus 4 and 1x intercept at minus 1. Your homework for tonight is to make sure you're rewatch this video so you can understand as best as you can, and then to continue lesson number 6 and finish questions number 3 and question number 4, where you're given 2 equations in standard form like we had in the video today, and you have to change them to factored form in order to graph them. Tomorrow when I make my video, I will take these questions up, but I would love for you to try them today on your own first to make sure that you really do get it. If you have questions today, I'll be on Google Classroom from 2 to 3 today because I have a staff meeting from 1 to 2. But if you have questions, please come online and ask me for help. If you prefer, if you're too shy to come online, send me an email and I can answer your question by email. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube video. I hope you learned something today. Let me just reassure you again, don't feel overwhelmed if you're finding factoring hard, because factoring is really tough and we're going to continue learning about factoring for the rest of this week. Please leave me a comment. Thank you for watching this video and I hope you have a beautiful day. See you tomorrow on YouTube.